There he is.
All right. Well, thank you very much, man. That's great. Thank you.
Man, I am speechless. You know, the learning about Abraham Lincoln and Andrew Doherty. Are you kidding me?
It's
Raise your hand in the chat.
it's
Yeah.
an incredible history, Lee. I mean, you know the same way that I do. You know how important it is. You know, I just yeah, I had a lot of fun making that video for everybody.
Oh,
Thanks.
I bet, man. I bet. We had a lot of fun watching. And people were saying,
I had
Netflix
fun watching
series.
it too.
Netflix series. Can we see a Netflix? They just wanted you to keep talking, man. Just keep talking. Just keep talking.
One day it'll be on Netflix where it belongs, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is a story that has to be told.
Yeah.
Right? Like, as you were saying, it's just as important as the Rockefeller, the major families that we know of from that time period.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. You know, like I said in the video, I'm really honestly not sure what exactly happened with playing cards. It must have been because they were such a, you know, I guess in people's minds, a trivial product. You know, it's just something that they used for entertainment. You know, where people just didn't ask any questions about it, or just maybe it just slipped by. But you know, I think it's time that we bring that history back together again, and we show how important that they were to, you know, American history. But you know, these guys were also important to the Industrial Revolution, the first Industrial Revolution, the second Industrial Revolution. They had a really big hand in politics, you know, and then of course, all of the beautiful imagery that we get from the playing cards, you know, is another awesome, you know, another awesome benefit of having these amazing companies operating right at that exact time.
Listen, before we go any further, I have to say, your collection behind you is so gorgeous. My, look at that. Can you just move over for a second? Can we see? Can we just take a look?
Yeah. I've got the USPC corner over here, and that's filling in really nicely right now. I've run out of room in there for boxes, so it's only decks of cards in there. I've run out of room for boxes everywhere. So now I basically, you know, I kind of have to put the boxes somewhere else, and I plan on doing something really cool with them when I have a little bit more space. But and then in this cabinet here beside me, like you saw in the video, I have the very early makers up on the top shelf, New York Consolidated here, right beside me here, and then both lower rows beneath that is Andrew Doherty. So, and we're close to having one of every deck that Andrew Doherty ever made. So we're very.
That's right. I know that's your goal. Your goal is to have the living Hochman in your home.
You know, it's funny because I actually brought my Hochman along with me today to show you guys, because I've been asked a few times. I've whipped it out, you know, and I've been showing somebody something in it, and they say, "Oh man, what's the matter with your Hochman?" You know, and I always say, well, you know, that's what it's like when you collect everything that's in there. I mean, that's probably the most well-used book in the house, and you know, it really shows its age. Here, I'll show it to you here. I had to put it in a special holder just because it was falling out and falling to pieces. But just to give you an idea of what a Hochman that's on its tenure looks like. But if you see, you'll notice though, when you start to get in here, you'll see all the highlighting in there, right?
Yeah, this is your working copy.
These are all decks that are collected and that are in the Paper Empire's collection. And so, I mean, as you can see, I think we're on USPC here. Even for USPC, we're very much getting close to having the complete spectrum, right? And the reason that I want to do that, Lee, is because I want to be able to compare everything in-house, right? I want to be able to take something, compare it to another thing, and be able to tell this story, right? So it's important to have the material that you're going to be studying in-house, right? I mean, I think that's sort of
absolutely
what's important.
Glad you mentioned the word house, because behind you, it looks like a dollhouse to the untrained eye. Could you tell us a little bit about what those are?
Yeah, sure. Well, these are the factory miniatures, right, that I've made. This is Samuel Hart's factory here. This is Andrew Doherty's factory here. I've also made a big United States playing card company one that's not in the office anymore because of space constraints. But you know, that's an extension of the card carving of the card carvings that that I was making. You know, these little things, right?
Yes.
You remember that? That was the
Yes,
first
this
thing
is
you
this
saw.
is how we met.
That's how we met. Lee and I have a big history with this spade. I was trying to sell this spade on eBay when Lee found me, actually.
Yeah, I saw a guy carving wood craft of old playing card design that I thought, what? Who's this guy? And then his name on eBay is Suds McDuff. So right away I knew we were friends. Like I knew we were friends. So and then
Yeah.
I made you write an article for Card Culture.
Yes,
I'm
you
like,
did.
I
Yes,
will
you
not take no for an answer.
did. And you know, that was fun. You know, writing that article. I mean, it feels like ancient history now, but that was a real step into a whole other world for me. You know, where I could finally have that outlet for all of this extra information that was coming in all the time, right? You know, I stay really focused on the manufacturers when I'm writing for the Paper Empire series, but you know, the magazine has allowed me to go everywhere and do all the things and talk about all the things, you know, not just the old stuff, but you know, the stuff in the midterm and also some of the new stuff too. I know we talk about reproductions and stuff in there and some of the modern
That's
stuff.
right. Most people think you're just a die-hard antique collector, but the truth is you're a hybrid collector.
I am, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. If I had another office, I would probably have like a modern office, right? That would
If
have,
you had another home, you'd all have Jackson's
yeah,
decks.
yeah, I'd have all of Jackson Robinson's decks out and Usi's decks and everything. But right now I have all of my modern stuff all put away nice in an antique dresser, just waiting for more space.
So real quickly, you do all the, can you show us the United States Playing Card Company space made and a couple more of your wood projects? I think that people really need to see
Oh
that.
yeah, sure.
They're
So
they're gorgeous.
the one, oh man, I wish you could see that one up there. This one up here, okay. If you guys
There we
can all
go.
see that up there, in 1905 at the St. Louis Fair, the USPC had a beautiful booth, right? It was a big elongated triangular booth, and at the very front of the booth, up at the top, was a gigantic spade, and clearly it was their spade, right? And I saw it, and I just thought, I gotta make that, right? And so that's where that spade came from. The little spade that you see down below is actually probably the most dearest item in my collection to myself. That was a little wooden spade that I made before I went and saw Judy Dawson for the first time. And I just took it with me, and I had a great visit with Judy, and I sat and I talked with her for a few hours. And before I left, I got her to sign that spade. And I just love that. I mean, that's the highlight of my collection for me, is to have, you know, Tom and Judy Dawson were the curators and still are to a large degree of this entire industry. And, you know, being involved with them and carrying the torch for them has been an absolute honor for me. So, you know, anything that I can pay respect to the other people that have done the research, I love doing that. So.
Absolutely. I'm sure they love you back, buddy. You know, I think it was Steve Bowling who said it was Hochman, Dawson, McKinstry.
I'm really happy that it turned out that way. You know, that's for sure, because when I first started, you know, the Hochmans was the absolute Bible, and it still is today. You know, I mean, if you the information in the Hochmans is bulletproof, and there's a lot of it. You know, it's a really heavy book. You know.
Absolutely. So, Jason, do me a favor. I know you have a couple of things you want to share with us and show us didn't talk about at your lecture. So I'm going to turn over the mic to you for a few minutes. I have to switch batteries in my mic pack. So I'm going to let you talk for as long as you need. Show us some awesomeness. And guys, one's in the room right now for this guy. One's in the room. How amazing is this talk?
Thanks, guys. It's been wonderful writing for all you guys. Honestly, I know a lot of you read. I know a lot of you read car culture, and some of you don't. And if you don't read car culture, you should definitely think about doing it. It comes with your 52 plus subscription. You get that. You get Clear the Decks for $25 a month, guys. I'm going to tell everybody here that that's the best value that you're going to get is from 52 plus Joker Organization. It's absolutely spectacular, and it's $25 is is nothing for what you actually get for your money. But like Lee said, I got a couple of things I want to show you today. I just grabbed a couple of things that maybe made sense to some of the stuff that you guys already saw today, right? You saw one of the Salady Bazik registers go through, right? So I thought I would just show you. This is the actual instruction manual that comes with that set. So that that Bazik marker that was up earlier on the auction there would have been 4 of those in a set, and it would have come with a set of these instructions, and it would have come with 4 short decks. And as you can see, Samuel Hart was actually producing this literature himself in-house, right? And as you can see on the sides, it's got the, I don't know, it'd be very hard for you guys to see it at home there, but it's bound together by string. I don't know if you can see that. You know, it's in a time, you know, everything these days, everything's all stapled together or glued together. You know, back then they used more, you know, whatever was available to them. And string was what they used to hold these little pamphlets together. So getting one with the string attached and still together is quite difficult. And so just moving on from Samuel Hart, I thought another interesting item to show you guys today. You know, you can see a lot of bill heads and letterheads that have been popping up on eBay from some of the manufacturers around 1900 to 1910. This right here is one that you guys are probably all familiar with. This has been used many times. It's in the Hochman. But this is a bill head, and it's a bill of sale, actually is what it is, from the New York Consolidated Card Company. I think this one here was from, 1899. So December 1st, 1899, you know, somebody taking care of a Christmas order, you know, just before Christmas. And I mean, the detail on, you know, the detail on their engravings and the work that they did was fantastic. I think that they're hard pressed to even, you know, achieve that depth today, you know, with the modern printing techniques. No offense to anybody. So I thought that was cool. And then going along with the lines of the New York Consolidated Card Company at the turn of the century, right? I thought I would show you another one of my favorite pieces, which is this. It's the up-to-date rules for all card games.
I love this.
You know, and for all onlookers. And of course, inside it has the eternal saying is to, you know, keep your mouth shut, which is very cool. And this actually came in a couple of different colors as well. Right around the turn of the century, the New York Consolidated Card Company was having a bit of a moment, and there was a big push for the turn of the century, you know, to sort of, I don't want to say modernize things, but to make things hip and give it a bit of attitude, right? And so this kind of stuff comes right from that attitude time of the New York Consolidated Card Company. I know that everybody in this room has one thing in common, and the one thing that they're going to have in common is their love of bicycle playing cards, probably, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of my favorite acquisitions in the last couple of years has been this little advertising piece.
Yes, look at that.
This is so cool, Lee. It comes from Terry Rose's collection.
Okay? Oh yeah, of course.
And I mean, Terry had some wonderful stuff. And on the back, it's got the rules for draw poker. You know, again, they always wanted to have, you know, they didn't want to leave any blank space, right? So they wanted to make sure that they were advertising or they were putting something everywhere, right? But this is just a cool piece of history, and it is in perfect condition. It's also out there in red too. A couple of people have told me since I got it there. So very cool. But I got one more thing I want to show you, and it's from 1900 as well. Terry Rose's again, but this is an 808 pamphlet.
Oh wow!
And it shows all of the 808 back styles. I'll show you the back here first before I open it up and do the big reveal. And of course, the most durable playing cards on the market. They really were. They lasted a long time. We're still getting them today. And then there's the inside of that pamphlet. So you can really see, you know, how much Bicycle was working it in 1900. You know, I mean, they had a lot of different black styles. They had a lot of different finishes. They had a lot of different colors available. Got into an interesting conversation a few days ago about the blue and the red, and what did that mean, and why was it blue and red, and was that a decision that got made? And I said, you know, blue and red playing cards have been out a long time before the United States Playing Card Company came out, right? But and cards had changed from more pictorial backs, geometric backs. When they started to come into that standard playing card back, the introduction of the colors was really in full force, right? The blue and the red was there, but a lot of other colors were there as well. By the time you get to 1881, right, when the U.S. Playing Card Company starts making cards, people had already chosen their favorite colors. You know, playing card businesses are in it to make money, right? So if somebody wants blue and red playing cards, they're going to print blue and red playing cards, right? And it was funny because Bicycle themselves, the brand, were constantly trying to introduce new colors, right? They had the blue and the red, obviously, but they also were working a lot with the brown and the green. And so they were actually trying to bring more colors into it. So, you know, the short answer to the question is no, they didn't sit down and make a collective decision to make blue and red playing cards. It was an effect of the market, right? After so many years. So yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Right. Jason, hold on for a second. Anyone who has a question in the chat, please put it in the chat right now. We have a lot of time, so we can spend time just asking this guy as many questions as possible. I'll pick your brain. You're gonna want to hang up your camera when we're finished, because we're gonna keep asking questions because we want to keep hearing you talk and talk and talk.
No, it's great. You know, I'm so happy to be here, Lee, honestly. It felt like forever, you know, coming, and here we are sitting here. But I do have a bit of a bone to pick with you, if you don't mind me doing it here in front of everybody.
Okay. All right. I don't know what you're about to say, but go ahead.
Well, it's the new members lunch, you know, and I was supposed to be at the new members lunch, and I was supposed to get a lunch. And I was told by a handful of people to make sure that I made my order good and expensive. It was going to be a free lunch. So it's a great
so people don't know what you're talking about. When you join the club and you come to a convention, we have a new members lunch, and we take you out to lunch because we really appreciate you being a new member. And Jay joined a while ago, but he couldn't come. It was always something was happening, family, usually like Canadian Thanksgiving, for instance. And so this year was his first year he's come to the convention. And all right, man, I will take a digital snapshot of the food that I was eating tonight. And there you go. It's a virtual convention, right?
I was wondering if I was going to hear my doorbell soon and a pizza was going to show up, courtesy of 52 Plus Joker.
Look, this is a good convention, but it's not that good.
You know, it is a really great convention. The talks have been wonderful. You've been great, Lee. If we should be throwing ones up for Lee, honestly, because he's done a wonderful job. And if
don't applaud, just throw money.
Are hard, Lee's job is definitely 10 times harder than all of ours.
No, all the credit goes to my tech team. Like I say, these guys are making me look great.
That's why you're the president.
Jason, we've got some questions coming into the. Okay. I don't know if you can see chat. If you got it open in front of you.
Yeah, it's zipping by pretty fast here. But if you got a couple queued up, I'd love to answer them.
Well, they want to know what's your favorite ace.
What's my favorite ace? Oh man, that's a loaded question for someone like me, right?
Yeah, I know.
How do you play favoritism in an office full of aces? I mean, that's. Oh, well, if I was to honestly have to make a decision off of the cuff, I would probably say that my favorite.
Yeah, I knew you were going to make that.
Is that?
Yeah, of course. Of course. So that reminds me, by the way, you were talking about card culture. And for those who have just joined or members know, what's today's date, Jason?
Don't pretend that you didn't see that happen there. I just dropped that Samuel Hart deck on the ground right in front of me right now.
No, there was a buffer. None of us saw it.
Okay, well, that's great then. But what was the question? Sorry?
What's today's date, Jason?
It's the 15th.
And what happens on the 15th like clockwork?
Card culture comes out like clockwork today, Lee.
Which means your article. So people who want more tonight will receive their card culture. That'll actually come out after the club deck. After we launch the club deck, you're going to get 2 emails from me tonight. I'm going to blow up your email box. I'm sorry. First one will be about the club deck launch. And then the second one will be your card culture with a juicy article I believe it is the Nightmare on Center Street.
It's
Because
the
it is
Nightmare on
October.
Center Street. That's right. There's a great article too, actually. You know, taking a look at Halloween, the history of Halloween. You know how every month we sort of touch on where we're going to go. We discuss the history of what we're talking about, and then we go through the playing cards, basically that sort of back it all up. And this month is for Halloween, right? And we've got the Halloween special, and it's all about the scariest images ever put on playing cards. And believe me, there's a pile of them. You know, I mean, pretty scary images. Maybe not scary to me, maybe not scary to you, but scary to somebody.
Sure.
You know?
And that Georgia Martha is in there. You've got a really interesting concept going on with that I don't think people have known about. As soon as they see it, they're going to go, of course. And they're never going to unsee it once they see it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to now. Well, and that's, you know, maybe that's why it's my favorite deck too, right? Because it's one of the most noticeable decks when you look at the cabinet. It jumps to life. But that one that I just dropped on the floor there, that deck is in mint condition. I mean, it was in mint condition. It was in mint condition. That's right. But yeah, and so it's just something so beautiful, something so old. I mean, it's breathtaking when you see it. And the colors in that deck, I mean, I tried to show you there before it fell, but the colors in that deck are so solid and so nice. They just jump right out of the cabinet. So you can't help but notice it. But of course, after I found out what I found out, which everybody else will find out in the Halloween special, now I can't see anything else.
Right, so. You can't. And we're being cryptic right now. You'll get the issue tonight. You'll see what we're talking about. And as soon as you see it, you can never unsee it. It's very cool.
One of those things. Okay,
so one of the things that was going down in the chat while your talk was going on, people were talking about how they want to see a TV show, a Netflix show, and then finally you started to announce you have a new YouTube channel that's coming out where you're going to be unboxing these decks of cards.
Man,
tell us more about that.
This unboxing it's going to be so cool. The segment's going to be called the Unboxing the World of Paper Empires. And like, our manufacturers clearly were from a time where unboxing wasn't the most popular thing in the world, let's say. And but what I want to do is, because everybody's loving the unboxing thing, and it's a fun, great way to show people new stuff. And I just think that it would lend itself fantastically to our antique playing card makers. And given the fact that they never had the opportunity to do that, we're going to give them that opportunity. I'm not sure if you guys saw the video or not, but this was the box that I had in the video. And inside of this handmade box, and I made this myself. This is our ceremonial unboxing vessel, we'll call it. And we're going to put some of the greatest decks of cards ever made right into this box. And we're going to unbox them for everybody, right? And we're going to talk about them, and we're going to talk about the history of them. Here, I'm going to try not to unload this all over the floor. But yeah.
And so you're going to put a deck in there for every video.
Well, there's a deck in here right now, Lee. I just can't show it to you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I understand.
It's right underneath this finger right now. And it's going to be cool. It's going to be really cool, actually.
You know, I love the idea that you're using the tools of today to teach people of tomorrow about the playing cards of yesterday. I think that's spot on. I think everyone right now that's watching, throw some ones. We're all going to join, subscribe to your YouTube channel. Please tell us how we do. When does this start?
Okay, well, this is starting really soon. So this is the next project that I'm working on, and I'm actively working on it right now. I've got a little bit of the stuff up on the website. So if you want to jump over to the website and have a look, I've got a great little trailer for it. Everything's all set up. It's www.worldofpaperempires.com.
Yeah, let's drop that www in the chat right now.
And I mean, really, you can spend some time at the website. I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot of history there. You can buy the books there and everything, but there's a lot of history there to look at, and there's a lot of imagery there that if you let it, will certainly suck you into my world, you know?
Absolutely. And right now people are saying they're at your YouTube channel because you haven't started this yet, correct?
No, it's not. It has not started yet. No, I wanted to give you all of my attention, and then once I was finished with this, I would.
Well, it's topical, right? Because after this event, we have the new deck launch. So what you're doing is the old deck launch, and Yeah, you're basically explaining it here at the 52 plus Joker convention.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awesome series. I'm really looking forward to it. And we're gonna have special guests on too, right? I've talked to a few people,
You're gonna
and
get Andrew Doherty, John
I would
J. Now that's the episode I want to listen to.
That's right. Well, that's the weekend at Doherty's episode. But yeah, no, I mean, so we're gonna have some guests on, and not only are we gonna unbox them, but we're gonna discuss the decks, right? And we're gonna talk about the features, because a lot of these decks are seminal moments for playing card history, right?
Absolutely.
You know, so you're gonna see, oh, what's this deck all about? Well, this is the first time that this was ever implemented, or this was the result of, you know, this patent or this thing. So, I mean, there's just a lot of history there, and there's a lot of meat on the bone that that nobody's ever seen it before. So
yeah, man, and you're unearthing it, and you're serving it to us in little bite-sized pieces until we're ready to have it. And I'm sure that everyone in the chat room is ready for dinner.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really good.
So right now, they go to your YouTube channel, they can subscribe right now, and then how long do you think until this starts?
I'm planning to have this going by next month for sure. I'd like to have it started and then be on a schedule of bringing out the videos for sure. Yeah.
Okay. So I would join now. If I were you guys, go subscribe to this channel, and then look forward to, in the next month, maybe two, these unboxings of these decks that, again, you would only see either in the Dawson collection, a museum, or in Jason's collection.
Well, yeah, and in a lot of cases, you know, like if you see a lot of these playing cards in museums and stuff, and rightfully so, right? Because you don't want somebody dropping a deck of cards on the floor, right?
Right.
But in all reality, this will be one of the only opportunities where you'll get to see these cards being handled, being, you're going to see them like a personal experience, seeing the cards. Not so much like, seeing a couple of pictures of the cards. You're going to see them. You're going to see how they feel and how they look, and and the features.
That's amazing, right? I don't know anyone else who's doing that or has thought to do that. That's pretty spectacular. Sorry, we're just switching my camera for a second. There we go. Yeah, man, this is so great. Everyone drop some ones right there in the chat for Jason McKinstry. Show him the love, appreciation that you have for what he's been sharing with us, what he's about to do. Jason, really quickly, let's talk about the world of paper empires. You got an incredible shout out today from Michael Slaughter. I know you were in the room. I know you heard him say that. I'm sure it brought a tear to your eye.
It did, actually.
Yeah, I was proud. I could feel the pride for you. For people that don't know about paper empires, real quick, tell us about the book.
Yeah, so Paper Empires it's the stories of four of America's earliest playing card manufacturers, right? And these stories dovetail together in many different ways. Like I was saying in the video there, because a lot of them were family members, and because there wasn't a lot of playing card companies around at any given time, they very much work together like a machine. And so Paper Empires covers the first four manufacturers. It gives you the lives, the times. It gives you a biography where I've been able to pull together all of the facts for each maker, so that you sort of get an idea of how the day-to-day life was for these people. A lot of times we're so focused on playing cards, right? We sometimes forget that these guys, playing cards was their life, but they also had lives too. And that's sort of the point of Paper Empires, is to fulfill our obligation to acknowledging the lives that these people lived, because they were monumental lives. Sort of like I was touching on about Andrew Doherty and Abraham Lincoln. I mean, some of the connections between our antique makers and American history are spectacular and big, so yeah, and then that's what Paper Empires does. Paper Empires points these out. It points out the times when playing cards and history collide together, basically.
Yes, that's what I love about your book, is that you're able to take this information that could be dry at times and paint context around it in such a way that it makes complete sense. It puts it right into perspective. And yeah, man, I was thrilled to be able to read early galley copies. I was thrilled when you launched it. I'm thrilled that people are learning about it for the first time right now. How do they get a copy if people are learning about it right now?
Well, if you want to, you can go on over to www.worldofpaperempires.com. You can learn all
the link
about
in the chat.
Yeah, you can learn all about the book there. You can sort of get your foot in the door with the whole thing and see what it's all about. You can buy signed copies from me on the World of Paper Empires. And if you don't need a signed copy, we're also on Amazon. So, you know, anytime if you're a Prime member or anything like that and you want to get a copy, just head over there. Both Paper Empires and the Collector's Corner Annual are on there. So it's
really quickly. Tell us what the annual is about?
Well, the annual, well, you know what the annual is about, right?
I know, but I'm for the people in the chat.
Yeah, well, the annual was it's a collection of all 12 of my articles for card culture. So basically, we took everything from 2019 and we sort of edited it back down again. You know, spiffed it up a little bit and changed anything that was sort of not jiving with the idea of it being in a book, and we laid it out in a book format. And yeah, it's just really awesome, you know, seeing all of it together, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, when I got my copy, and Jason, you know this, but I'm sure people at home don't know this. I don't print card culture. Like I lay it out and I put it out digitally and we move on.
Yes.
And then to see it printed though, wow, it looks spectacular.
And it matters too, right? To see it, like when you were here that day and I saw you pick up that printed copy that I had, I could see that look on your face that you had never held your baby in your arms before, you know. Yeah. And yeah, it was actually a touching moment between you and those pieces of paper there.
Yeah, I mean, we work really hard. And shout out to Eddie Hewlett is in the room. I see you there, Eddie.
Absolutely.
Eddie is our editor. He does an incredible job.
Absolutely.
And yes, all of this. Guys, again, when you give me all the credit, but the truth is I have an incredible team of people. And you're seeing card culture team right here. Jay and Eddie and Elaine Benoit, just Alex Clay, Sherman Tsao. Like, people just send me articles. It's just great. It's really great. So thank you. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you, Alon.
Lee does a lot of work too. He writes his own pieces for everything, and your work is very good too, Lee. I like when I read card culture, I don't read it for my articles. I read it for everybody else's stuff, right? So
I read card culture.
Like I just bypass mine and I read everybody else's, right?
I read it for the centerfold, to be honest with you.
Are we doing that again?
No. Okay, so if they go to your website, they can get the copy of the book. They can get, or excuse me, Paper Empires. They can get a copy of the annual. And also get prints. Tell us a little more about the prints that you sell.
Oh yeah, so these are fine art prints. You know, there's a lot of beautiful imagery in Paper Empires, right? And I mean, it's just awesome imagery, and it means a lot to us antique playing card collectors because we understand the history behind it and what some of this imagery means to the history of playing cards. So I'm offering a series of prints for each manufacturer in the first Paper Empires book. I don't have any of them with me here, unfortunately, but I would love to show you, but you can check them out on the website. And so for each manufacturer, I put together a set of prints. There's a main print and then a small manufacturer strip that goes along with it. And you know, just try to key in on some of the most beautiful imagery in the book, just to give people, you know, it's just really, it's nice stuff to look at, you know, and it's inspirational. When you see it, you're like, yes, playing cards, you know, you want to learn something about it, and you want to, you know, and you want to collect them. It
pulls you in.
It pulls you
drags you in.
Exactly.
It makes you want to learn more.
Yes. And it's funny, I was thinking about not even doing them, but when I printed out the first prototype, it was gorgeous. And I thought to myself, people are just going to love this, you know? So yeah, and so they're on the site too, and then you can pick them up, and I make them one at a time, sort of, you know, as an in-house operation. And
they are frameable, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Preferred to be framed and put on your wall so people can
preferably
ask you, wow, what is that?
That's right.
A conversation piece.
You could use a couple of them behind you right now, Lee.
Yes, I tried to keep this. I wanted to focus on me, Jay. I don't
Good
want people
call.
to look at and my shirts. I don't know if you noticed. I'm trying to. I've got a theme going on.
I was wondering if you were going to have a Paper Empire shirt tucked away for our engagement this evening, but
Maybe. No, I didn't have one made. I'm sorry.
next year.
Next year. So people that are on social media, Facebook, Instagram, quickly tell them how we can find you on social media.
Yeah, well, I'm on social media. I use my regular name. Just look me up, Jason McKinstry, or you can look up the World of Paper Empires. You can find me both ways. I'm constantly posting cool historical facts about antique playing card makers, and not only antique playing card makers, vintage playing card makers too. I mean, I'll cover anything that I find interesting, and I plan on in my lifetime covering it all. So I sort of feel, you
You
know,
plan on living for a long time.
well, I plan on living as long as I can. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Really quickly, people are asking, where are you located and what is the code to your alarm?
Yes. Well, the code to my alarm is actually nice try, you guys. Nice try, you guys. No, but I do live in Canada. I'm not too far from Lee. Lee's in Toronto, and I'm not too far away from about on a good day, about an hour away from you, I suppose.
Yeah, about an hour, I'd say.
Yeah, and I live in a little village. I live in a little village called Elora. It's actually a really cool town, and it gives me. I chose to live in a small town because it gives me the feeling of old New York in the 1830s. And I really mean that, because a lot of the imagery that I look at when I see like William Street where L.I. Cohen was, or any one of those old manufacturers in that area, it just looks like my town, So every time I'm on my way out or anything, I get that little glimpse of it, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
Okay, Jason,
Yeah.
I want to do something. I just got an idea. Give me an idea. Lean forward into your camera. I need everyone at home, take your phones, and I want you to take a picture of you watching Jason, and I want you to post it on social, and I want you to talk about how incredible this talk was and how amazing this 50 Joker virtual convention is. We still have 2 more days, so we want as many people to be here as possible. Shame on everyone who missed this. This was so incredible. Can we get some ones after you've taken your picture? Put some ones in the chat room. If you're on Instagram, make sure to tag Jason. Make sure to tag 52 Plus Joker. Make sure to tag me if you want. Tag anyone you want. Just put it on social and brag about how you just saw one of the most incredible antique talks that 52 Plus Joker has ever had. Jason, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Lee. And honestly, this year we're just scratching the surface, right? Next year we're going to start to get into some pretty hot and heavy stuff, right? I mean, I just wanted to introduce myself to all of you because this was supposed to be my first convention with everybody, and I was, like I said, I was really looking forward to being there with you. But
yeah, we're going to try to do it live next time. And since it's close, right? It's going to be in Niagara. You and I can share a ride. I'll split the gas money with you. But what would be really great is if you brought some of those carvings and some of those factories that you've built to scale, and so people could actually see that. Like that, it's not doing it justice to see it over your shoulder. You have to actually see it in person.
And when I'm sitting there, right, I'm down low on them, so they sit up high above me, and so you sort of get that feeling because these were really big buildings, right? I mean, they would have been the playing card manufacturers were always pressing the limits of height restrictions, right? So because they wanted everything as big as it could possibly could be, so that they could fit in as much equipment as they could. So these were very big buildings at the time, and they were coming up in some areas that didn't have many big buildings at that time. So they were very noticeable.
Yeah, and they're noticeable over your shoulder too.
Yeah, that's right.
And Eddie is screaming in the chat, "Bring the tokens! Bring the tokens!"
Bring the tokens. Yes.
Do me a favor, move over. Just I want to see. It's directly behind your head because I've been to your man cave, so I know it's in your room. Just move over a bit so everyone can see. Let's get you spotlit again there. We'll put the camera on you for a moment. You know what I'm about to ask you to talk about.
Okay, so yes, if you can see my index finger pointing to this big bronze coin here, that is actually one of the 1878 Paris Exposition bronze awards, okay? They came in bronze, silver, and gold. The New York Consolidated Card Company took the gold award that year, and we have very nice pictures of that. I wish I owned it, but and also Andrew Doherty took the silver that year. This is just a bronze medal, but it gives me enough of that, you know, it gives me enough of the experience that I understand it and I can feel it. And until you see the size of one of those in your own hand, you don't realize how big they were. They could have been just any sized coin, but they're like that big.
Yeah, they're really big.
It's
I didn't
not,
realize it till you showed me yours.
yeah, it's not a small coin. And then beside that, I'll show you guys all this in due time. But those are all the Samuel Hart's gaming tokens down there. There's some old gaming clips, you know, wizard clips and everything for cheaters. And then what you see above is all of the actual money that was used during those times. So those are all coins from, you know, the 1880s to about 1910, 1920. So
Really
you know,
quickly, who won the awards again?
Well, it was New York Consolidated Card Company took the gold for their squeezers, and Andrew Doherty took the silver for his triplicates. 1878.
And Aaron Prinz, who's been here all day, by the way, he in Europe. So for him to be up this late, he must be loving this. Aaron, thank you.
Honored.
He asked, how long have you been collecting playing cards?
Yeah, well, I've been collecting playing cards for about 9.5 years, actually, and yeah, it's been a wild ride. I mean, it feels like maybe only 2-3 years, and just so much has happened, right? Since I got that phone call from you, it just the last few years sort of seemed like a blur. But
right.
Yeah, 10 years, almost 10 years.
People, when I call you, your life changes. Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Wait by your phone, all of you.
everyone grab your phones.
Okay, so let's get some more questions. We have a few more minutes. Why not?
Sure,
our next event doesn't start till 7:30. So if we go, you know, another 5-10, it's totally cool.
Sounds good to me.
Jackson Robinson is asking, do you have scans of all these aces and jokers and stuff? Question mark.
Oh, a great question, Jackson, and absolutely I do. One of the main purposes of Paper Empires was to do a great job imaging all of these playing cards in full color. I mean, high quality, full color. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to make sure that everybody got the full, you know, impression of these playing cards. And a lot of them have color in them, and a lot of them have subtle color in them, you know. And black and white is wonderful. I mean, it gives us, and it's good for 90% of the cards. But I just love that full color, full immersion feeling that I get from the pictures. And yes, so there we've got them all, and they're all available. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, just let me know. That's for sure.
And this is, I'm sure people are thinking this, but no one's actually going to ask this. But I'm going to ask this for people that are too scared to ask. Are any of these decks that you have for sale?
You know, that's funny. You know, I try to decide. I'm a seller, right? I buy and sell all the time on eBay with the antique playing cards. The collection's always been something different for me, but it's evolved. What my intention is with it has evolved constantly, almost daily. You know, I mean, at one minute I want it in a museum, another minute I want to separate it and get it out to collectors so that they can enjoy it too. I mean, it's such a tough call. But I do think that at some point in time, given how many collectors there are out there that would love to have any number of these decks in their collection, I think I will eventually let them go out to you collectors out there.
So if people have questions, if they see something on eBay they're not sure about, can they contact you? Can you give them help? Is that okay?
Absolutely, yeah. If any time you have a question about anything, whether it's the playing cards or whether it's a question about the manufacturers or even a question about the industry in general, or you know how it all went down, or even if you have your own theories about something and you want to ask me, or you want to question something that I'm theorizing about, go ahead. I'm more than happy to talk to you about them. I'm always happy to talk about antique playing cards.
Thank you. That's very gracious of you. I'm sure there are people. There were some questions earlier. How do you become an antique and vintage card collector? It's very scary, very expensive. Do you have any advice for them?
Well, yeah. My first piece of advice would be pick the area, pick the time frame that you love the most, the one that interests you, whether it's the, you know, say you're into the Wild West. I mean, that's a no-brainer, get you in the door. I love Wild West. Let's look at Pharaoh cards, right? But there's a lot of other time periods that are great for playing cards, like you know, the Roaring Twenties, or I mean, any one of these periods, any one of the wars, you know, has a bunch of decks that goes along with it. So my advice would be to pick the time frame that you find the most interesting and start there. And bear in mind that you don't have to pay. Yes, there's decks out there that are worth thousands of dollars, but most of these decks aren't worth thousands of dollars. Most of them are worth, you know, $60 to $80 or maybe $100. So it's not as, I mean, and I know modern collectors are paying, you know, hand over foot for some of the modern stuff. I think they would be very interested to know that a lot of these decks were quite affordable and on par with a lot of the modern stuff that they're buying today. You know, I think it's the kind of thing that people scare themselves about because they say, oh, you know, that would be a museum quality piece, or that, you know, I couldn't own something like that. But you really can. And if you keep your eyes open, sometimes you can find some absolutely spectacular stuff out there.
Absolutely. You know, really quickly, I see Judy Dawson's microphone is on. Judy, can we hear you talk? You want to say something really quickly?
Hi, Judy.
I didn't warn her, so I apologize.
Well, that's okay.
Okay, well, that's okay. If we hear her in a moment, well, I'll stop talking. But it seems like her microphone was on. I figured she was going to say something nice. Obviously, she loves you. She's told me many a time. She's so proud. Tom would have been proud. The club is proud. Like we love you, man. We love you.
That makes
You're
me feel
amazing.
So
And,
yeah,
and it's
you
clear
guys
that you
are
love
awesome.
us.
Yeah, I do.
Spent energy and time, and you've put in so much love into your project. I can't wait for people to see the replay. I'm sure that everyone in the chat's going to watch this over and over and over. Pip Chick said she was going to play it over and over and go to bed to listening to your voice. That's how much they love you in the chat room.
Awesome. I'm doing something right if that's true.
Throw those ones. Throw those ones. Make sure to take a photo of you watching Jason. I'll stop talking for a second so we spotlight Jason. Put yourself on social saying that you just saw one of the most incredible antique talks ever.
It was really great, guys, and it was my pleasure. And then I'm honored to be here amongst all of you. I'm honored to be here with all the other collectors and all the other historians and researchers. I'm honored to be here with the designers, and you know, I mean, we have to have one of the best communities going these days.
Yeah, 100%, man. And certainly because of members like you and Eddie and Elaine and everyone who contributes to the CTD and our board and all of the members. Like this is a great group. This is really a great group.
Yep, I think so too.
Can you one more thing, and then we're gonna let you go. One
Sure.
more thing. It's a request from Eddie Hewlett, our guy.
That's our guy.
He wants to see Samuel Hart's traveling bottle.
You know, that's funny because I actually have it sitting right beside me right now.
He doesn't want you to drop it though. Don't drop it.
I'll be very careful with this one, guys. Trust me. So yeah, this is one of Samuel Hart's traveling bottles. Okay. And I'm just trying to get so that you guys can see the name on there. So, you know, I try to tell you that, you know, Samuel Hart and all the playing card makers, you know, they didn't just make playing cards. There was a lot of other stuff that they did, right? And these bottles for Samuel Hart is a really great example of that. You know, this bottle always reminds me that there's more to Samuel Hart's empire than just the playing cards, right? Now, the playing cards were a huge, huge part of it, right? But he wasn't a one-trick pony the way that many people think. Traveling bottles, this type of stuff, this was high-end merchandise back then. These bottles were guaranteed to never spill, which was almost impossible in the 1850s. And of course, it comes with its own little shot glass here. So, I mean, you could have put medicine in here. You could have put anything that you wanted in here. And Samuel Hart also made ink bottles and all sorts of things. Another Samuel Hart bottle is this one right here. Just to give you another idea of a slightly different one. And now this one here would have had a much larger cap that went over top of this one. So yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, it is.
I'm
They
sure,
these are really incredible. Actually,
I'm
good
sure
good
there are
good
people in
call.
the chat that had no idea that Samuel Hart made bottles. And this is why they have to go back and read all of your card culture articles, because you talk about all this stuff. You show
Yeah,
photos of all this stuff.
and the card culture articles, right? Because there's a lot of stuff in there that's not in the books, right? You know, because it's the stuff that happens around a lot of it. You know, that it might not be 100% related, or maybe it's something that I found out later because I'm learning all the time and I'm unearthing new facts and new things all the time, right? So card culture is my opportunity to catch everybody back up and let everybody know what's new and what's going on when I'm thinking about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Jason, this has been such a tremendous talk. I had an incredible time hanging out with you. I feel like I was sitting in your cave. I'm sure everyone in the chat rooms felt like they were sitting right there with us. Thank you so much again for your time, your effort, your energy, and obviously the love that you have for play and for us as a club. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you guys out there. We'll see everybody real soon, eh? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. Okay. What'd you think of that, huh? How hot was that? Man, that talk brought tears to my eyes. I was with you guys in the chat. I didn't want it to end either. And here's the deal. This will be on replay so that if you do want to watch it over and over and over, you will be able to. 30, the new deck launch. Do not miss this. You are going to see some of the greatest stuff. It launches here. For those of you not members, that usually at our annual convention, we have this new deck launch event where artists all over show up and wait to show their latest and greatest to us. So what you're going to see in 10 minutes is stuff that no one will see for a while. You will be the first. And that's what's awesome about 52 Plus Joker. Right after that, we're going to have the club deck launch. That's Usi. We all know Usi. Can we get some ones in the chat for Usi, please? Ones right there. They've made a club deck this year. Wait until you see this deck. Mwah, chef's kiss. You're going to